You think Rolexes, Ferraris and Gucci are a symbol of success. You think outsourcing labour to literal slaves is a means to an end. You think Jeff Bezos might be kind of okay to talk to for 5 minutes about baseball at a backyard BBQ. In other words, to you, wealth is health. But you've got one problem. You are not rich. Ciao. I'm Will Turner, and I am not rich. However, I do own an unopened VHS copy of 1994 American comedy movie Richie Rich starring Macaulay Culkin that has only depreciated in value since its purchase. So you could say that I understand the wealthy. Today, I'm going to show you how to seem rich. I've taken many precious hours of my life to collate research from junctions up and down the information superhighway on manufacturing the appearance of wealth. You, humble viewer, are my Adam. That being said, I shall mould you not from rude clay, but from the most exquisite gemstones, delectable endangered animal flesh, and from the very fabric of the Fortune 500 itself.
Places to hang out.
Rich people do not stand around socialising in dens of ill repute. If you want to seem rich, you better hang out where the wealthy people hang out. But where do they spend their time? Well, they're massive mansions for one, but hanging out there is called breaking and entering and is a punishable offence under the Crimes Act of 1900.
They put you in jail. Right away.
Here's a list of social events I found online to act as a guide for you as you infiltrate the wealthy. The Frieze London Art Fair, the Fort Lauderdale International Yacht Show, the Snow Polo World Cup in San Moritz, and the Paris Fashion Week. Sound kind of German, no, actually. The Paris Fashion Week. Yeah, okay, what the fuck is it? Okay, the Paris Fashion Week. It's very silly. Also, here's a tip to maintain your deep cover. It's pronounced yacht and not yacht. I literally have a degree in English and I could not tell you why that is the case. If you can't make it to any of these events because that would be ridiculous, never fear. You could head somewhere like Pall Mall 67 in London. Geez, what happened to the other 66? It's an upmarket bar where you'll find high rollers and using $10 words and showing off their diamond piercings and their gold encrusted and shoving ivory elephant tusks. The cheapest wine is £40 per bottle, which is less than I expected, but their most expensive vintage is over £16,000, which is actually more than a lot of people make in a year. Either way, for just a fistful of cash, you can engage hobnobbing.
Hobbies.
But there's a problem. What the hell do you say to these people? Hey, how are the kids? Still made of gold? You need rich people's hobbies to talk about. Let me show you how to successfully weave your obvious wealth into a conversation via the medium of hobbies. I was collecting some art the other day that I found on the floor when my horse, who I ride, he expressed disinterest in the Kandinsky, so I opened a bottle of which I believe is a wine or a cheese, and that quietened him down. Some skiers passed by. We were skiing at the time, and some skiers passed by, and they noticed and they asked if they could stop and enjoy an après ski or cheese board. Of course I said yes, and we had a brief but stimulating conversation about how many doors we have in our second homes. And the Queen was there. Boom! Seamless. You're in. This is a very strong coffee, and it is driving me insane. Clothing. They say that poor is flashy, rich is loud, and wealth is quiet. I guess the poor wear very high visibility clothing, the rich carry 2 or maybe 3 vuvuzelas on their person at all times, the wealthy wear very soft-soled shoes. Ooh. Of course, I am willfully misunderstanding this phrase for the sake of tactless comedy. Its subject is clothing. Accordingly, don't wear flashy brands. Luxury fashion brands sell to people who cannot afford their clothing by marketing themselves as aspirational. What Gucci wants you to think is that by buying their trousers, which I would easily and instantaneously soil with an egg sandwich is that you are thus deserving of respect and will receive respect. Okay, I mean, take Bill Gates.
Play tennis.
Ooh.
He literally always looks like he's lost in a second-hand bookstore. If you passed him on the street, you probably wouldn't even notice because, contrary to expectation, he is not wearing a crown made of beluga caviar. That's what I thought one of the richest men in the world would wear, but maybe not. I mean, I expect him to wear a crown made of beluga caviar. He doesn't, but I don't think anyone does, but that's what I assume.
He turned to him, hoping to...
You want to simulate how a rich person dresses? Pick someone wealthy and mimic how they dress. For example, Dracula.
It is so exciting.
He has a castle. Unlike most millionaires and billionaires, he is a blood-sucking vampire. Also, Dracula slept in a coffin, which I can imagine was one of the first features Mark Zuckerberg demanded of the metaverse. Tax. Even if you do pay lots of tax, tell everyone in the upmarket cocktail bars that you're now frequenting that you actually love paying very little tax. Tell everyone that you cannot stimulate an erection without considering how small a percentage of your yearly income is taken by the tax man, and also Viagra. The way I've written that kind of makes it sound like I'm saying that a small percentage of your yearly income is taken by the taxman and also taken by Viagra. That's not what I mean. I mean, you cannot stimulate an erection without Viagra. Viagra? Who says that? Tell your new rich friends about a recent excursion to Switzerland or Panama where you just so happen to bump into a friend who just so happens to work in the banking profession and say, next round's on me, and wink, but then order tap water because you can't afford to buy the next round. I would go, next round's on me? Tax evasion. I'm talking about tax evasion. On a serious note, here are some tax talking points. They are genuinely how rich people avoid paying tax. Tax talking point 1. At the end of the financial year, tell people that you take your business's profits and you invest them back into your business because then they aren't taxable, even though your net worth still grows. Tax talking point 2. In a year, if you earned $1 million and then you bought a painting valued at $1 million, which then grew in value to $10 million, and then you donated that painting to a museum or even to your own art foundation, you would achieve a $10 million tax deductible that you apply to your own income. That's insane. Tax talking point 3. Tell people you're simply moving to a country without tax. Tax talking point 4. This is kind of crazy. You can set up a charitable foundation, the proceeds of which are not taxable, and then use that organization for deductible business expenses. And charitable donations also aren't taxable. So you could buy a 1964 Jaguar E-Type Series 1 coupe, donate it to your own charity and write it off as a charitable donation, and then drive the thing around as a company car. Now I am going to stop talking about tax. In conclusion, the video's over. If you're ever at a loss when a highfalutin CFO asks you what your favorite stock is, resist the urge to say chicken and remember the acronym BAMR. B-A-M-R. Be always morally reprehensible. What's my favorite stock? That's literally harder than picking my favorite child, but I'll tell you what isn't my favorite. Unions. And Das Kapital. I actually have a copy of Das Kapital, right? I guess the overarching and ultimately not very funny joke of this video is that it's not a very good guide on how to appear rich, because I deplore the idea of wanting to appear rich in any sense.
Yahoo!